Now as Jacob went on his way, the angels of God met him. Jacob said when he saw them, "This is God's camp." So he named that place Mahanaim. Some elements in this chapter mirror the beginning of Jacob's journey in chapter 28. Back then, Jacob had his dream of angels, and he recognized God's presence in that mundane place. Well, now Jacob's headed back to the land, and he recognizes this camp as another meeting point between heaven and earth. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom.
Sir, a message from your brother. Play it.
Hey, Esau. It's me. Anyway, I've sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen and donkeys and flocks and male and female servants. I've sent to tell you, my lord, that I may find favor in your sight.
The messengers returned to Jacob.
Well, what do you say?
He's coming to meet you, sir.
That's it? Just like a one-on-one meeting?
Oh, and he has 400 men with him.
Wait. Are we talking Navy SEALs or a clarinet ensemble? Because I need to know how to prepare.
Back in chapter 27, Esau was plotting to kill Jacob. It's been 20 years now, and we don't know if Esau still has a festering grudge or not. Then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed. When Abram's future looked bleak, God said, "Do not fear, I am your shield, your very great reward." When Isaac was surrounded by quarrels over water, God said, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." The reason that these guys shouldn't be afraid is simply the fact that the God of creation was present with them, allied with them, engaging with them, committed in faithfulness to them. Jacob still hadn't made that connection, even though God had reiterated the promises to him at Bethel. God had said, "All the families of the earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. Look, I am with you, and I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." But for whatever reason, Jacob still can't accept that God really would be faithful to him. My family, maybe, but me? A snake? It couldn't be. Grace can't be that amazing. I have to fight tooth and claw for any blessing I expect to get. There's no way that God wants to give abundantly. Have you ever thought that way? Well, he divided the people who were with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into 2 companies. For he said, if Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the company which is left will escape. And then he starts to pray. Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac." Note, he doesn't say, "my God." "O Lord, who said to me, return to your country and to your relatives, and I will prosper you. I am unworthy of all the loving kindness and of all the faithfulness which you have shown to your servant. For with my staff only I crossed this Jordan, and now I have become 2 companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he will come and attack me and the mothers with the children. For you said, I will surely prosper you and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which is too great to be numbered." He's living in that familiar space between God's promise and the present reality, just like Abram, just like Isaac, just like us. Jacob has a chance for his faith to grow as he waits for what is sure to happen. So he spent the night there. Then he selected from what he had with him a present for his brother Esau: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milking camels and their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 male donkeys. That's more than 550 animals. That's more than a lifetime of food, clothing, transportation, and resources. And with significantly more females than males, the breeding animals would continue to multiply this gift. He delivered them into the hand of his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, "Pass on before me, and put a space between droves." He commanded the one in front, saying, "When my brother Esau meets you and asks you, saying, 'To whom do you belong, and where are you going, and to whom do these animals in front of you belong?' then you shall say, 'These belong to your servant Jacob. It is a present sent to my lord Esau. And behold, he also is behind us.' For he said," here's Jacob's rationale behind the gift, "I will appease him," or cover his face, "with the present that goes before me. Then afterward I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. Maybe he'll lift up my face." Jacob hopes to buy forgiveness from the one he'd wronged so many years ago. So he sends the package out and gets his family and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and he sent across whatever he had. Why does the story go out of its way to say he crossed and went across and they went across? Is there an important water crossing in Israel's story that might serve as a parallel here? If so, might one expect to see a recurring motif of the formation of a new identity, a rescued life, and a faithful God? I guess we'll find out when we get there, but the next verse seems to come out of nowhere. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. Jacob's pretty old at that point, but when he, the assailant, saw that he had not prevailed against him, Jacob, he touched the socket of his thigh, so the socket of Jacob's thigh was dislocated while he wrestled with him. The exact words here have a broad range of meaning, anything from touching the inner thigh to punching him in the crotch. He demonstrated his superior power in such a way that Jacob was no longer able to keep up a fight, and he realizes he's not dealing with an ordinary man. Then the man says, "Let me go, for the dawn is breaking." But he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Up until this point, Jacob had gotten blessing by taking advantage of Esau, by tricking Isaac, and by outmaneuvering Laban. He had wrestled these characters and won, but his tactics could only get him so far. The man says, "What is your name?" And he said,
I'm Jacob.
"I'm heel grabber. I'm a liar. I'm a manipulator. That's who I am."
Jacob is the right name for him.
Jacob.
He said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Prevailed? How? On this side of the river, your weakness is actually your strength. All that scheming, all that effort, but God already said he was going to bless you, Jacob. Why did you try so hard to get what God was freely giving? Well, now he's hurt. His pride is probably damaged, but he keeps holding on. And that assertiveness, that perseverance in the face of suffering is a mark of something great. He doesn't abandon God at the first twinge of pain. Rather, he holds on tighter. Then Jacob asked him and said, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob named the place Peniel, face of God. For he said, "I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been preserved." Now the sun rose upon him just as he crossed over Penuel, and he was limping on his thigh. This encounter didn't change Jacob into a perfect man. We'll see in later chapters that he remains deeply flawed. Yet it was important for him to see, as the father of the tribes of Israel, that being an image-bearer of God is not about controlling people and events the way Jacob had always done. Walking with God is not about racing to get ahead, putting on a mask, and tricking people to earn blessing. Jacob needed something to slow him down enough to make him accept God's generous gifts. He needed to be humbled. As an even older man, Jacob will look back on this event when he blesses his grandchildren. It's then that he says, "The God who has been my shepherd all my life long to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the boys, and in them let my name be carried on." Chapter 32 ends with a quick note about a dietary custom. "Therefore to this day the sons of Israel do not eat the sinew of the hip which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of Jacob's thigh and the sinew of the hip." That later custom wasn't codified in the Torah, but it shows us how influential this event was in the story of God's people. We'll close with words from an old little-known hymn. "Not by wrestling but by clinging shall we be most blessed. Wrestling only brings us sorrow, clinging brings us rest. When we stay our feeble efforts and from struggling cease, unconditional surrender brings us God's own peace. Lean we all our weight on Jesus, who alone can save. He by might of love hath triumphed o'er his willing slave. Yielding we shall know true conquest, dying we shall live. Not my will but thine prevaileth, victory to give."